how's it going? Doug Bonjour with Hearst Connecticut Media. You had said the other day that this game was, it was unfair to kind of just put it all on Caitlin and Paige, and kind of turned out that way. How can you assess the job Kristen did in terms of hounding Caitlin and obviously sparking you guys offensively?
Well, I think the fact that there was so much hype put on those two kids, it was part of it was unfair, but it comes with the territory. I get that. But like I told the team before the game, I said, in all these matchups of players that get all the hype, it usually comes down to somebody else and something else. And I think our defense, as bad as it was at times, was really, really good when it had to be. And Kristen Williams and Avina Westbrook and Olivia, our three juniors were amazing. They just played the way you would want, your upperclassmen to play, because it was not going to be easy on either Caitlin or Paige to play their normal game. And obviously neither of them did, even though both of them played really, really well. So I think it was a well-played game by both teams, well-officiated game. We just had a little more, than Iowa did. But I could see, why they are as good as they are, and they're a difficult team to play against, that's for sure.
Thank you, Coach. Next question is from Dom.
Hey, Geno, Dom Amori from The Current.
Hey.
So I want to ask you about Kristen. I know there have been some ups and downs with her, and I think there was a point where you had mentioned her, you thought she wasn't coachable. And I'm just wondering what that moment was like, and how she got from there up to where she is today, rising to the moment like she did.
Well, a lot of words come out of my mouth, and uncoachable probably comes out 10 times a day with every one of my players. I think the thing that Kristen struggled with early on was putting too much emphasis on her offense. That if the ball didn't go in the basket, she didn't really know how to contribute to us winning. And that put way too much pressure on her. It was like every shot, every possession for her was life and death. And there's been a huge change, probably since maybe the first or the second St. John's game at St. John's, maybe if I can pinpoint a time, when defensively, Kristen started to understand how I can impact this team in so many other ways. And today, she looked like the Kristen Williams that we saw when we were recruiting her. A kid that can make shots from everywhere, can make shots at the basket, can make shots from the three-point line, can attack you in transition. And she was guarding one of the toughest players in America to guard. So I thought this is the best game that Kristen Williams has probably played in her career. No question about that.
Next question is from Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, the AP. I got two questions.
All right.
First, was it nice to have a crowd here and actually have people cheering for you, it seemed like, in a game, which I haven't think you had much of the season? And the second question is, you mentioned how this was a good game for basketball. I mean, it was pretty well played, well officiated. Was that a good showcase for women's hoops on national television, having a high-scoring, high-entertaining game, so to speak?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that when Iowa was getting layup after layup, open three after open three, I don't think the thought came into my mind going, wow, this is great for people watching at home, you know? But given all the hype surrounding the game was really, really well played. There were a lot of great plays made. People made open shots. Big shots were made at big moments. You know, we would get up a bunch. They would make a big run to cut it. You know, it was just a really, really, there weren't a lot of turnovers. There weren't a lot of fouls. So, yeah, I think this game showed women's basketball in a really, really good light. And I'm glad there were some fans here to really appreciate it in person, because sometimes, you know, what you see at home on TV is one thing, and what you see in person is something completely different. But somebody told me this was the first network televised game since 1995, when we played actually in the championship game against Tennessee. It's taken a long time, huh? And they were well rewarded, and I hope we get a lot more games on national television on the big networks, you know, not just, you know, your sports networks, but you know, ABC, I think, really lucked out today.
Next question is from Michelle Vogel.
Yeah, Coach Auriemma, is this the kind of game that kind of, I don't want to sound too corny, but kind of reminds me of why you love to coach? Because to see the growth of somebody like Kristen Williams, who had so much, you know, hype and accolades, and then had to, you know, find the hard parts of the game and come through it, and then to do it today. Is it kind of maybe the fundamental reason why you like coaching?
I think, Michelle, we all like to coach for the same reasons that teachers like to teach, you know, because we are teachers at heart. You know, we love when our students, when they get something and the light goes on and they feel like there's a sense of accomplishment of, wow, you know, this was really hard for me. It took me a while to get this, but I feel so good about myself that I finally got it. And you know, and you as a coach, you know, you just feel so good for them. You know, as much as you want to, when they don't get it right, you know, during the process of learning, when it does happen, it's such a rewarding feeling. And that's certainly why I coach. I don't know why, you know, anyone else does, but I'm sure I speak for a lot of coaches and a lot of teachers. And I've always said this, you know, coaches get way too much credit for winning and way too much blame for losing. You know, coaches try to do their best to give their players the tools that they need to be successful. And you just love it when players, you know, use those tools and are successful. And Kristen was amazing. I mean, she just had this look on her eye that first half, you know, when she was just, you know, it looked like she could score from anywhere, anytime she wanted. And she takes great pride in her defense now, and her rebounding, and, you know, her ability to make a play for someone else, to see things, just a whole litany of things that I've been hoping that Kristen would eventually acquire, and she certainly found the perfect time to do that.
Next question is from Mike Anthony.
Thank you. Hey, Geno, Mike Anthony from Hearst. The last few days in preparing for this game, what specifically did you stress with Kristen about the most important aspects of actually keeping Clark in check? Sometimes things are, you know, more easier said than done. But were the challenges Clark presented in the game what you expected, and did Kristen have to adapt and adjust it all along the way? How did it play out versus the preparation?
Yeah. when you're playing in a game like this against someone like this, you play the way you normally play all year, right? So for the most part this year, we've done a really good job of knowing when to switch, when not to, who to switch on, how to help, how not to. We've grown into that. So we knew that Kristen, this is your assignment. But we also knew that there was going to be a lot of switches for the good or the bad, where it was going to be someone else guarding her. And so we made it during our prep a team thing that everybody has to know. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to guard her. And there were a couple of times where we guarded her great, and she still knocked in a couple threes. So the whole thing was about this is how our team is going to guard Iowa, and in particular, Caitlin Clark. Not, hey, Kristen, she's on you, and that's it. But obviously, Kristen had the main responsibility, and I thought she did a phenomenal job. I mean, the kid still came out of there with 21 points, but she needed 21 shots to get it. So I think that's a pretty good defensive night.
Next question is from Kurt with TSN.
Hey, Coach. Kurt Burmeister from TSN in Canada. First of all, welcome back. Good to see you behind the bench. Just wondering if you could comment on Aaliyah Edwards' second start of the tournament for her, and I think she's averaging 18 points a game now. If you could just give me your thoughts on how she's contributing.
Well, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. If it wasn't for Aaliyah Edwards, we wouldn't be here today. That kid has really added so much to our team. Her strength, her physicality, her toughness, her finishing around the basket, and I can't say enough about Kristen. Aaliyah, rather, that the fact that she's been able to come off the bench most of the season, and then early on when we started her, she was a little bit, not quite ready, it seemed like. And now she looks so comfortable in that spot. More than anything, I think what she does is she takes a lot of pressure off of Liv, because it allows Liv to be what Liv likes to be. Liv, catch the ball at the high post, be someone who facilitates our offense, and it allows Aaliyah to, muscle her way around, because you put your best defensive big man on a Liv, and now Aaliyah is going to have her way a lot of times. And the way she runs the floor, to have a freshman like that, I can't even imagine what she's going to look like in a couple years.
We have time for one more question, and that'll come from Douglas.
Hey, Geno, Doug Bonjour again. I think after one, Paige hit a shot and she came over and slapped you on the backside. She said it was an inside joke between you and the team. I don't know if there's anything you could add to that, but just, regardless, I mean, you see the freshmen and they seem to be, playing, pretty loose, and you speak to how unique that is.
If I remember correctly, I think it was when Anna Macarat hit a shot.
Might have been.
Huh?
It might have been. I saw the highlight.
Yeah, I think Anna hit a shot late in the game from the corner in front of our bench. Anna hit a shot, and Paige ran by me and smacked me. And that was an inside joke. Yeah, you know what the inside joke was? That's more shots than Anna's made in a month. And I kept telling her, at some point you got to make one. You got to make a couple. You got to help us a little bit. And what was funny? Both Ben, our interim coach, and Jamel both said, listen, put her in there, give her a chance, because she's going to make 2 threes in the next game. And you know what? She did. And I think Paige was letting me know She never passes up an opportunity to let me know when I'm wrong. Trust me when I tell you that.